Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Veronica and today I wanted to build something. I don't know what yet, but I want to build like something, a tiny house, like something that's not going to be too huge. Maybe something slightly cottagey, like, seaside cottage or something like that. And I picked this lot in Bringleton Bay. I like this lot a lot because in here, the front of the lot is kind of out here, right next to the road. But also in the back, we have this like beautiful seaside area, which I really do like out here. So I think we should get started. And I was also thinking that we might try and incorporate some of diagonals out here. I probably am gonna struggle about that because diagonals are kind of slightly tough in The Sims still. It's been a while since they were first introduced to us, but they're still not easy to work with. So we probably will struggle a bit with them, but we are gonna see how that will go. And I want to try and make this house look like nice and cute and maybe cozy. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit generic because I'm sure that I'm not gonna try and invent out here something like difficult shapes and stuff. We are just gonna try and make this house work somehow. And what I'm sure about is that I want to add a deck somewhere in the back so that, nice place with some nice view, like you are going to be able to sit out here and enjoy the view, your seaside view. And with the diagonals, I'm not bothering all this much with the shape right away because I know that I'm going to try and adjust it a lot when I'm going to go for roofing. And I think that I should probably go for roofing right away. I hope I will not cry this time. So the roofing has spoken, and now we kind of do have the shape of the house. Out here we have like kind of a covered area for our future deck, but I was thinking that I might as well just go and extend it like that, so that we have a nice and big opening somewhere in the back of the house, and maybe out here in the corner we'll be able to stick a hot tub. That's gonna be maybe a little bit of a stretch, but that is some fun additions to the house, I think, because having a hot tub can be fun. And out here in this opening, I'm planning on adding a door, and I was thinking that I might use quite a lot of cats and dogs in here because anyway, we are building in cats and dogs world, so I might as well. And maybe medium wall height is a little bit too high. Short one looks a little bit more fun, at least for me. I like short wall height just because, it adds to the fun. It looks a little bit more simple. It doesn't overclutter the area. And if we have a front porch kind of like on a bigger side like that, that's not on a bigger side, that's just normal front porch. So forget, don't mind me. Forget what I have just told. I don't want to make this house on stilts. I think I'm just gonna go for the cats and dogs like foundation. And we might as well just right away figure out the main look of the house. I think we might go for more of the wooden colors again because I kind of try to use them more lately. So I think I should not exclude this house like from this trying to use more wood colors. And the same cats and dog fencing is gonna go out here, and the same for our deck because deck does need some fencing. And as for the exit from the house, I think I'm just gonna make it like literally on the opposite side from our front door. I'm gonna switch the door later. And by the way, I'm not planning on limiting myself with the packs, so probably you're gonna see a lot of them in the end. And it's time for us to add move objects sheets because the windows are not placing the way I would like them to get placed. And what I'm planning about windows is we are gonna get quite a bit of like windows on the bigger side. But before we figure out all of the windows, I think I should probably go on the inside and figure out the floor plan. Because that as well kind of will settle how we should place the windows. So, okay, we have a little bit of a weirdly shaped house on the inside now. So, okay, I have switched the back door to the sliding glass door now so that we match the vibe a little bit more. I did shrink this side of the wall. The deck needs to be a little bit smaller because we don't need that side part anymore, I think. I might shrink it up on this dimension too because it sticks out a little bit too much. Now, I think we might have a living room out here, not a big one. We are not planning like on having all of those expensive appliances out here. It's just gonna be a tiny little, decently sized, not so little, normal living room out here. We are gonna have couch, couple of furniture so that we can all sit out here. Maybe I'm gonna stick out here some of the fun things to do in the game. Out here in this corner, we might have a kitchen. And yeah, by the way, it is me third time trying to figure out the layout of this house because it is a struggle. So here we are gonna have a kitchen. As for the dining, it is a little bit not easy because in this house we do not have all that much space for dining area. Not every house does need a dining area, but this one will have one. So I think I'm gonna stick out here a table for now over here so that, access from the kitchen. Maybe I'm gonna pick a different table. This one is just a little bit longer, it looks a little bit better. So here we're gonna have a dining room. Out here I wanna make a sort of like an entryway so that you have space to drop your shoes, so that you have time to do everything you might want to do. Out here, I think we might stick our a wall for sure because we didn't need the wall out here. In here, we are gonna have like access to the bedrooms wing, I might say. So out here, we are gonna have one of the bedrooms. I don't want it to be like so badly shaped, so I'm gonna try and make it like that. I think that these bedrooms should be small, but not too small for us to not be able to later maybe fit out here a double bed, at least with access on one side. And this way you can fit a double bed. That is good. Up here we are gonna have a bathroom, and up here we are gonna have another bedroom. So it is like normal bedroom, normal house, at least I think so, to be able to fit out here a kitchen, a living area, a hallway, tiny little one. Also we have a dining area. In here we have an entryway too, so that is a good point for this house. Also we are gonna be able to fit in here like a goodly normal well sized I think primary bedroom and kids bedroom, so that is okay. The layout is figured out. Now we do need the windows just for the house to look a little bit better. I think that's for the bathroom. The bathroom doesn't need that big of a window, but we might stick in here something that just gonna fill the gap on the wall, just like that. One window is enough. One window is enough, not more needed. The hallway is going to be absolutely blind, but we might want to have an archway to access that so that it doesn't look as sad and boring and empty. As for the connection of the kitchen, dining, living room and stuff, I think I might just stick out here a spandrel, just like that, so that the area is still kind of divided, so it's not one huge room, but at the same time it kind of is. So it doesn't close the area in, so it doesn't look all like tight and stuff, so it just looks okay. And out here we might have a window. I think I'm gonna scoot our dining area a little bit of that window. That should work. I think that should work. Now I'm kind of satisfied with the shape of the house, and we might start going around and adding some stuff like, columns in the corners so that we have them so they look nice and pretty. I'm not planning on adding like all of these columns and spandrels literally everywhere, but I think we are gonna add them in some of the areas of the house just because like that looks pretty, doesn't it? I think that it does. So we are gonna have something like that in around here. As for some of the decor pieces, I think that ventilation is kind of something necessary up here. Like, we don't need mold in the house in the near future, so we might want to have it on all of the sides. I think I will also later add some stuff like to the exterior, or like some flowers, some stuff like that. But for now, I was thinking that we might go to debug. As for the cats and dogs debug, what I like is that they have these trees. They are huge, they are beautiful. And we might just have like a couple of them and somewhere in the front so that they are kind of filling the area. So the area doesn't look so sad and empty as it does by default. Also, I think I'm gonna add some bushes somewhere around the house so that it doesn't look so sad and empty as well. And Cats and Dogs has this version of like normal flowers from the base game in it too, so that is something nice to have. And I do not want to make all of the landscaping like huge. I do not want to make it like too difficult for me. I just want to make it cute and not so empty, so that the lot literally just doesn't look as if it's not finished. I want it to look finished. I know that you can stick one bush only so many times without it being so obvious that it's just one bush, but that's okay, I guess. So I think that's mostly it for the landscaping. Like landscaping doesn't need to be too much. And out here we are gonna have that tiny off way to this side from our patio. And we do need a railing because the house turned out to be a little bit taller than I expected. And as for the mailbox, we are gonna have one, of course. Cats and dogs one, of course, because that is adorable. We need a cat out here. And as for the trash, that's gonna be a nice spot somewhere out here in the back. We want it hidden but still somehow accessible from the house, so it's kind of like snack out there. And I think I should probably figure out the rest of the exterior before I go on the inside of the house. And first thing I do need to do is recolor this roof trim because for now it looks default because it is. And we don't need to fix that. As for the chimney, the cat and dog pack has a nice one, but the problem is that it clips through the walls lower, so it doesn't look so good as we would want it. So I think that we might use in here the university one just because it kind of looks on the fancier side, and we'll need to recolor trim gray because of it. And it didn't even delete itself, usually it does. And my like tiny tip, if you like the chimney, like you really like the chimney, but you encounter a problem where you have these weird gaps, you can just go and grab the shelves from the base game, these ones, and you can size them up and put them up here so that these gaps are not so visible anymore. Just like that. So now they are not catching your eyes much and it still looks kind of nice. And as for the colors of the walls and everything, I want to make this house mostly bricks and panels. But I actually think that of the bricks we will have out here, maybe only the chimney and everything else should be panels. I think I'm gonna try and make some sort of like mix of vertical and horizontal because I think I guess that should look nice. But as for horizontal, I might have some trouble with finding the ones that I like. Maybe we can try and mix something like brown and orange that we have on the exterior by default. Not by default, that's not what I mean. I mean that we do have on the exterior some of the brown already, so why don't we try and use this similar color for the trims and stuff. Maybe vertical lines should be darker and horizontal should be lighter. And then I'm gonna think if I should stick different color for the roof color. I think just like that, like one of the sides is gonna be brown, and the other side is gonna be beige mostly, and the same out here in the back. But also in the same time, I wanted to use some of these like shingles we have for the top and maybe make them brown so that these roof pieces are going to be brown on the side where we have like open roof pieces, but here we are not going to do that because we are going to leave them the way they are. And now as for the roof trims, I do think that we might get something like that, maybe softer brown, so that we have some sort of like a dividing gap between these two. And I was thinking about sticking a light roof trim on this side, but I think that roof is not the place for these kind of experiments. And I think all of the ventilation should probably be white so that it just doesn't catch my eye so much because of mismatching colors. And as for the chimney, I did switch color to the darker as well. And as for the roof itself, so in the base game we do have like kind of matching to this shingles one. So I think I'm just gonna go with that. Does it look cozy? Maybe this should be different color. Is there a little bit of cold color? There is, so that's perfect. That kind of matches a little bit better, I think. So that's the front. Now we do need to recolor the foundation and we do need to recolor the staircase because it doesn't match anymore. I'm gonna leave it later. For now, it's okay, but the foundation does need a recolor. I'm just gonna make the foundation a little bit lighter everywhere around the house. I know that it screams beige queen, but I'm not. And actually, you know what if I'm gonna just make the staircase light so that we do match this like foundation color that we have out here. By the way, this is perfect. That is exactly the color scheme I'm going for. So I'm gonna make it like that. So we have brown and lighter color wood out here. And as for the deck itself, I think that cats and dogs wood floor would go good, but maybe this polished one. I like this wood from cats and dogs, but it looks kind of discolored. So I think that maybe this one is gonna do a better job. Just like that. That's the exterior. Now, just some slight decor for the exterior, and we are gonna go full on into the interior of the house. So I think some flower boxes, at least one in the front, just like this, just to add some color to the house. I like the university ones too, and they do even come in matching colors. And if I slide them down, they look kind of adorable, so that should probably do. I know that that adds some like level to the house and that maybe is not looking so good as I'm imagining it is, but maybe I'd not care about it also much. I might just go out here, by the way, and add a couple of like, color spots out here. Like we might have some flowers hidden somewhere out here. So that maybe slightly just adds to the landscaping. Because as for now, I was feeling that my landscaping was kind of lacking. Of the color, sure, we did not have enough of the color out here. And out here, I'm not gonna landscape like literally tall. I just want to leave it the way it is. But I might make the deck bigger again. Yes, so that we just have a little bit more space out here and out here. Yes, we do want to have some more area to stick out some activities for my sims. So that's my plan, at least for now. And I'm gonna get terrain color a little bit later. For now, I'm gonna leave the exterior as it is. I'm gonna add the lights later too. Now I think let us go to the interior. For the main wood of the interior, I think I'm gonna use the same wood we did use on the outside. And I'm gonna kind of go and mark the tiled area we are gonna have in the house because we are gonna have tiled area in the house. Just like that. And I'm gonna add some of the lights just as placeholders so that I'm gonna see what I'm doing. And maybe these lights will stay because they are kind of like my go-to choice considering lights. So where should I start? I think I'm gonna start with the room that's gonna kind of try and set the whole mood for the whole house. So I'm gonna remove all of these placeholder furniture because I'm kind of sure that we can fit it all. And we are gonna go and start probably with the living room. As for the living room, what I was thinking is we are gonna try and use the wallpapers because I'm not using them enough, but I do not want to use any of the basic ones or any ones that I do see in front of me. So maybe some panels because I don't use them at all, like literally at all. I don't remember the last time I was using panels, and I have just recently seen that we have some sort of panels in the cats and dogs. And we can try and match kind of the wallpapers and the panels from the cats and dogs because they look like they're supposed to be matching. As for the kitchen, I'm gonna stick out here some tiles so that it doesn't distract me at least. And as for the living room itself, I think that cats and dogs has the most cozy couch in the game. I'm over exaggerating it, of course, because that is just like a plain couch with pillows, but with pillows. We have pillows, at least somewhere. We don't have them all that much in this game. So that is something not bad either. We don't have anything like a table, a tall table, somewhat like that, or like that in the cats and dogs. So I think I'm gonna go and try and find something that's gonna match my taste or my wants for here in anywhere else. I think that this one from the base game is kind of like a nice go-to choice, but that's not gonna cover the sign clipping that I got, and I do want to cover that. I think that this table from the Cottage Living is gonna go well, or maybe we can use this one from Cats and Dogs, by the way, because Cats and Dogs does have a table too. So why don't use one from the pack? And as for the TV, I was thinking that I might stick out here like a big and nice TV, but now that I think of that, that is not the house that needs that all that much. So I'm not gonna stick out here that big of TV. I'm just gonna stick out here some tiny little TV, and we are gonna go a little bit more for the decors out here because if I'm gonna stick in here some more of these tables, if I'm gonna stick out here that bookshelf that we've got in the pack because that is big, that is expensive, and I'm not using that a lot because that's big and that's expensive. Like, making your grandparents' house. That's what I'm going for at least. Like, not yours, of course. I don't know your grandparents. I don't even know mine. So, doing the way we can. I think I might use this one because it looks a little bit too fancy for my liking. But maybe that's exactly my liking for this exact house. This side table is gonna go up here And we might as well go and use in here this floor lamp that we've got in Cats and Dogs, and we are gonna leave this chair, and it has some beautiful swatches as I remember. And I do not want to make the whole house like satin beige, so we might try and add out here some, I don't know, blues, reds, or yellows. That looks random for now, at least. I'm gonna make it white with darker bottom too. And as for the carpet, I wanted to use something like that, but this carpet is now a little bit too small for the living room like that. Maybe this one is gonna match. This one is a little bit too big, unfortunately. But I can size it down and it's still gonna be decently sized. So, and I don't think that I have ever used any of these swatches for this carpet in my game. Maybe it is time for me to do that for the first time. And now for the kitchen. So as for the kitchen, I was thinking that I might go and use this fridge from the Cottage Living or this one from Growing Together. And I think that for now I'm gonna leave this one from Growing Together because I have never used it before. But as for the kitchen set itself, I absolutely do not know what I want to do for the kitchen. So we are gonna improvise apparently. I think I might use this kitchen from the Contour Kitchen kit. I know it is a kit. It is not sometimes good when I use kits because people don't like that. I don't use that kit all that often, I feel like. And it does have some nice swatches of the stuff. I think that something like that isn't gonna look too much. And now I literally do have the option to use the same Growing Together colors because Growing Together has this light green swatch as well. And I was thinking about using some ventilation on top of the kitchen, but I don't think that I'm gonna do that because it's not gonna fit anyway. But we do need a backsplash, so I'm gonna pick that up. And as for the backsplash, what I'm thinking about is that there is this kind of backsplash in the Home Chef Castle pack, which looks absolutely perfect for this green kitchen we have. But I might make it like that so that we add some more color to that, so it's not just green. I'm gonna remove that. And this way, if we are using Home Chef Castle anyway, why don't I pick out here a sink from the same pack? Like, why don't I? That's gonna be okay. And as for some of the kitchen appliances, I think that if you are cooking in your kitchen quite a bit, you might want to have a waffle maker, but they do catch on fire a lot still, so I don't want to place something like that. If I place the coffee machine like that, then it doesn't kind of match by color unless I try and match it with these like golden pieces on the furniture so that that matches now, but it's one more kit. I know that there are alternatives, but I'm not using them, so maybe that is not a good thing to do. But in the same time, if that looks prettier, why don't I use what looks prettier, at least in my opinion? And we might try and make this kitchen a little bit fancier if we are gonna use this kind of tile from the Home Chef Hustle pack as well. Also, I would really like to use something like that for the kitchen because I think that in the kitchen like that, that looks literally absolutely perfect. But in the same time, it clips with the sink, so lucky you, no more packs. But we might as well go and use something from the Cats and Dogs again. Something like that. That looks kind of nice as well, I think. And now, by the way, for the curtains. We do need some curtains out here. And these ones from the Cats and Dogs kind of do look like they are in the exact style we are trying to make this house in. And by the way, as for this tiny little chair, we do have this poof. I know that it's not supposed to be like a foot proof, but I might use it as a foot proof, like that. And we do still need a coffee table. And yes, this way we do have quite a bit of surfaces out here, but in the same time, when we are gonna stick out here some of the decor, it's gonna look much more filled, I guess. And as for this tiny little corner, this one, what I'm thinking about is that there is that plant in the base game that would fit perfectly in here. This one, just because it's big, just because it's kind of like filling the area, that should be good. I actually might make some sort of like a green spot out here. And for this, I might use some sort of like not a flower, but a flower set. Not like that. But I want to have a holder like that, and that looks good. That always gives me the same tree vibes, but you know, not going for that style here. I like to go for this one. It is from the Snowy Escape. And that is actually my favorite set of flowers because I use it a lot. And I don't like all that much this one because I cannot scoot it as close to the wall as I can do with this one. So this one wins, as for me at least. I think I'm gonna come back out here a little bit later and add some clutter to the house, but for now I'm just gonna go and continue with the house itself. And by the way, it's not gonna be a cheap house, not in real life, not in the game, because first, I'm already using several packs, so that's not cheap on the pack side of the game. And second, it's 27,000 and I didn't even furnish the bedroom, so, and the deck, so, sorry. And as for the dining room, I do really not want to imagine anything new. I think I'm just gonna use these cats and dogs chair, cats and dogs table, and I'm gonna pair it with these chairs from the base game. And as for the curtains out here, as it is all the same room with our living room, I think I'm just gonna use the same set of curtains, just I'm gonna make it smaller. Maybe I should make it this color, so that at least it looks a little bit more neutral. And I think we are gonna have a hanging plant somewhere here in the corner because I don't think that we are gonna be able to fit in here anything else. And I'm gonna stick a tiny carpet somewhere underneath our dining area, just like that. And as for our tiny like mud area in the house, I think I'm gonna figure it out a little bit later, but I'm gonna come back here shortly, quite shortly, don't worry. For now I'm just gonna settle it like the area by just recoloring the floorings out there. And now let us go to the bedrooms area. As for the bedrooms area, we need doors. I do not want to stick the cheapest doors in the game, but I don't want to stick too expensive of doors in the game. So, as I have said, it is just a hallway, nothing special out here. And as for the bedrooms, I think it's gonna be like a nice spot for us to try and incorporate some a little bit more of color or of fun things for the house. And I might want to try and make some of them a little bit on the dark side, like that. That is a wallpaper from Vampires, and the tree matches the floorings from the cats and dogs perfectly. When would you see that? When would you see something like that? And what I'm thinking, parents' bedroom is going to be dark, kids' bedroom is going to be a little bit lighter, I'm imagining. And as for the bathroom, I'm going to come back there a little bit later. So, okay, the parents' bedroom. I think the parents for this house do deserve fancy stuff, like maybe cute bed from the cats and dogs, or maybe from the new pack too, because that is gorgeous. That's what I'm gonna say. But that looks a little bit like too fancy. So I think I'm gonna go and add some more of a cottagey style for this house. Like go back and use that your favorite cottage living wallpaper. Why is it my favorite? Just because it matches everywhere. It looks good everywhere. That's at least how I feel. And now that I think about it, why don't I make like not two-bedroom house, but what if I'm gonna make it one-bedroom house, but one of the rooms is gonna be an office? I think that I don't do that enough because usually, at least as for me, when I start playing The Sims, I usually start playing as a single sim who is just living the life, like having a time and stuff. But then they find a partner, they live on and stuff. I'm not creating like the whole families right away, usually. That's not how I play. So why don't I try and do something like that? Do a house for the way that I usually play it seems because I'm not creating the whole household. Why would I set the house for the whole household? You know what I mean? And I think that I've never used these curtains at all before, but now I'm using them like literally all the time. And I am, by the way, working on not filling the rooms completely now because that was my little, like, I don't know, struggle lately because not lately, like all the time, because I literally just couldn't stand empty space anywhere in the games. And now I try to work with it. Now, if I leave some empty space somewhere around the house, that's okay. Like we can have empty space. Like we not need to fill literally every single corner of the house with something. This dresser looks fancy. I might use it in here. As for the primary bedroom, I don't think that I'm gonna do like anything all that much. We are just gonna have a dresser. We are just maybe out here and a mirror out here. Out here, I might just stick something like for fun for them, or I might even shrink the room because this room doesn't need to be like that big. And out here, I wanted to stick here like a couple of nightstands, but I think that I'm not gonna do that because I do that all the time. And not everybody wants to have two nightstands because sometimes, especially if you live alone, Maybe instead of a nightstand, you might want to have just a lamp, just like that, and maybe a cute plant in the corner. Maybe even with the basket instead of a planter. That kind of looks okay for me, I think. Out here, I might stick something like a painting or something like that. And out here on the opposite side, we are planning on having an office. Not doing that enough. And yep, I'm using a lot of cats and dogs because it's like a simple way to match the colors from the game, but not for all of the packs, because sometimes items from the cats and dogs not match other items in cats and dogs, and that's annoying. I'm gonna use a base game computer just because it's a simple choice for me. And as for this whole back area, I was thinking either I'm gonna add out here something for skill building, like we can have in here a bonsai tree, and also we can have out there an easel. I'm gonna use a base game one because I think I already overdid that with the packs. And on this side, we are just gonna have some curtains. And I'm gonna scoot them a little bit closer to each other so that this wall will be able to be completely filled with the bookshelves. I might even have these ones because I don't think that I've ever used them before. But now that I think about that, they have the same clutter and I'm not in the mood to customize it right now. So I might as well use these ones from the Crystal Creations. And yes, they are partly empty because you're kind of like supposed to fill them up yourself. I'm not gonna do that. But they are a little bit different because up on this one we have a stair, and that is a good thing. I think I'm gonna stick a bonsai tree up on this side because it's gonna grow a little bit better with the sun. And up here I might stick some sort of like an armchair so that you can sit and read out here. I do tend to add quite a bit of readingness in my builds, don't I? And give some lighting for the painting, so the main layout of the things is kind of figured out now. As for the bathroom up here, what I'm thinking about is I'm gonna go and add out here some sort of tiles on the side. Like, I do struggle with making like old-fashioned bathrooms because, as for me, I not normally like the way it looked. So I not like making old-fashioned bathrooms, to be honest. So I try to make maybe a little bit more modern ones usually, but here it's not gonna match the style of the house literally at all. So I think we're gonna have a tub out here, just like that. Out here, I was thinking that we might even divide the whole like room for the toilets, because sometimes in old-fashioned bathrooms it is done like that. Out here in this tiny little nook, I'm gonna place laundry. I'm gonna make it wide because I believe that it's like most realistic one to be. As for the toilet, I'm gonna pick the old one, like the old-fashioned one with this like top bucket up there. But is there any other than the vampires one? Really? Alright, then something else it is gonna be. Than just this one. At least it's gonna match the style of all of the surroundings. And now we do need a sink. As for the sink, it's kind of simple. And by the way, about the sink in the kitchen, we do have a cool kitchen sink. So we don't need to pay for the sink and cabinet, but we can just buy the sink right away. I believe that in the old-fashioned bathrooms, what we used to have is the pedestal sink. So out here we are gonna have one as well. I'm gonna go for more of the green colors because we are growing a lot of greens in this house. And as for the appliances that do concern me about the whole bathroom we do need to have a hamper. So this one up here. That is the most beige bathroom that I have ever made, I think. And now what we do need to do is go figure out the whole lighting situation and some decor. So I'm gonna remove all of the lights on the inside and we are gonna go, and by the way, we do need to add the lights on the outside. I don't want to add like anything too difficult for the exterior, so I think I'm just gonna use these lights that we do have in seasons. And we will need to figure out the deck, but I'm gonna leave it for the last. And as for the inside, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do that all while night because this way it's gonna be a little bit easier for me because I'm not gonna overdo with the light. I'm gonna do it like properly. And what I'm thinking as for the exterior, I'm gonna use like simple dot lights. The same I'm usually prefer doing for the kitchen because kitchen needs to be well lit. As for our living room, I think we might get away with having just like something cutesy, and I was thinking about something similar for our dining area, but for the dining area we do not need all that much lighting. I was thinking about something like that too because that looks fun. Maybe that is not exactly the vibe of this house, but I feel like it is the vibe of the house. I don't know, but I have seen something like that a lot in people's kitchens, I think, whenever I was visiting some of my friends or their friends. I'm gonna add a couple of lights out here and a couple of lights out here and a couple of lights out here because we do need our bathroom well lit because otherwise it's gonna be dark, it's gonna be dim, it's not gonna be cute, and I don't want it to be not cute. As by the way, as for our hallway, we not need to have any ceiling lights. We can just adhere some of the wall lights because wall lights for the hallways are kind of okay, I think. Maybe just one ceiling light to add to that so that it's not too dim out there. And in here we have it centered. Out here we might as well stick some sort of like a shelf, a photo, something like that. You know, family photos somewhere on the entryway. Doesn't that gonna look cute? And as for the lights now, I think that we do need to have a little bit more of the light somewhere in our bedroom. So I think we might have something like that on the wall right in the entryway to the bedroom. The same I think I'm gonna do for our office area. I'm gonna stick out here a couple of columns, by the way, because otherwise it looked weird that we had these like outstanding corners. And as for the office area, I think we might as well get ourselves some sort of like a standing light somewhere out here on the desk, because that is useful to read. Or maybe we can even get something like this cute, like crystal salt lamp somewhere out here where the bookshelves are. I think I'm gonna use this light from Cats and Dogs. That is a lot of light. I know that it is a lot. I feel like it is a lot, but that adds to the vibe, I guess. And I'm gonna add out here a ceiling light still so that it's not too dark. Like right now, that is good. Not too much, not too little. I'm satisfied. As for the bedroom, I think we might want to have a lamp on this side too. I like adding this tray from Tiny Living. I liked it so much that Tiny Living was literally the first pack that I've ever bought for The Sims. So I might add up here this tray so that we have it here. And I think I'm gonna do the same trick that I did in our office. A couple of lights out here so that it's dark, not so dark out there. Now kind of the lights are done. I'm gonna go back to the day. And now we can go for some of the decor pieces, some of the tiny little activities for the house. Like we can have this new stereo that we got from the new kit. I'm gonna stick it out here. I'm gonna make it blue because we have some blue colors in around the house. Out here behind it, we do have some empty spot which I wanna fill. I try not to fill every single spot lately, but you know, sometimes I just can't help myself. And I feel like this plant from the Cottage Living is gonna be absolutely perfect up here. And as for these sides of the TV, I have a couple of options. One of them is I thought that we might try and add out here the gaming console, but not everybody plays games. Like I do, but not everybody does. So I was thinking that we might add out here a dock because we don't need to forget about the dock. So that goes up here for the display and also a bookshelf. But now that I look at that, maybe that's gonna be a little bit extra. So maybe a bookshelf is gonna go on a bookshelf. And this side I can actually leave empty because like who cares? And as for this tiny little part that we've got out here, I usually prefer sticking something like a diary up there so that you know somebody might have been sitting on the floor and writing something in their journal and they just left it out there. And as for the comfort pieces, what I wanted to add in here is some pillows, just like that, so that we have them, so that you know maybe you had some guests over and they didn't have a nice spot to sit. Of course, your Sims might prefer these pillows to any other comfort piece around the house. My Sims probably would do the same. So sorry for that. And I think that's as for the living room, that must be mostly done. Now let us go to some decor for the kitchen. I think that's for the kitchen. I'm just gonna add like the usual ones because I usually not prefer like imagining anything new for the kitchen, especially. I feel like it's not needed. Like we might have some of these tiny utensils to help us around the kitchen. We might have some sort of like a towel somewhere up here hanging up. Maybe not these ones from the vampires, but you get what I mean. Maybe we can have like a fruit bowl. Yes, I know that these are supposed to be like plastic fruits from the new pack for the painting, but I'm imagining that you might as well try and use it not only. And by the way, I wanted to add something like a plate with snacks out here, but I don't think that we do have anything like that out in the game. So maybe a cow plant is gonna go on a neighboring surface, I think. And up here, I'm just gonna stick another plant because we like plants in this game. I like plants, so that is why I'm sticking them literally everywhere. And as for here, I want to stick out here some paper towels and a fruit bowl, of course. I'm just struggling to find that because I have debug on and it is a lot. Actually, I think that I'm gonna replace this drink tray with a fruit bowl and paper towels because we don't need all that much stuff to be happening in the kitchen because otherwise it's gonna be a little bit overcluttered. And this way, it is absolutely functional. It's all nice. The only thing that is left is the fire alarm. Now it's out here as well. Now let us go to the dining room. As for the dining room, I think that we do not need any much decor out here. The only thing that I want to add to the dining room is some sort of like a tiny little flower up here. Just something that's going to look nice and welcoming to the dining room. And I think that something from the Dine Out is going to be absolutely perfect for this purpose. Like that. Now we have that. As for our entryway, I completely forgot about it, by the way. So we do need an ottoman out here. I like this one from the kids' room just because it has this neutral swatch, but in the same time, it's not so neutral looking. And as for the decor, I wanted to stick out here some mirrors. I like sticking a wall height mirror somewhere in the entryway just because you can check yourself properly before you leave the house. And up on this side, I'm just gonna use some of those like base basic, I would say, decor I usually use in the entryways. So it's coat rack, it's a shoe shelf, maybe I don't know. I'm sticking here these shoes, but you can replace them. And also I like sticking out here some seasonal stuff, umbrella stand, because that is also much needed in the house, I feel like. And as for the base game decor again, this code track is going to add to the house too. And now the only thing that is lacking is a tiny little welcome mat out here. I'm going to stick it on the outside because usually, people stick something like that on the outside. And we are going to stick another mat on the inside too, just because you want to wipe your shoes when you enter the house. So, and you do not enter the house in these shoes, like not in my house for sure. And by the way, what I completely forgot about is I wanted to add out here a tiny little runner carpet, runner rock, so that we have some slight decor out here. And I'm now thinking that I do not want to add something like too much out here, so I think just the painting is gonna suffice. Just like that. You might replace it later with your family members' photos so that it's a little bit more customized for your taste, for your scenes. And as for our office area, let us go out here right away. I think we can have a cork board somewhere like around the entryway. I want to stick out here some sort of like a tiny little table out here. But I feel like we do not have enough of those like skinny little tables in the game that are nice to have somewhere and that are not gonna occupy the whole area of the house. And just like that, I think I'm gonna rotate the doors of all of this stuff is gonna be behind the door. I'm gonna switch around this light placement, and I'm gonna add in here a plant so that it doesn't look so sad. Like we have a couple of plants out here. And when I look at that and I figure that I do need a hole on table out here. Maybe one like that so that we have a cork board on top of it. And then onto the table we can stick a couple of books and maybe something fun to do around the house. Like, a future cube. And maybe some sort of like on the table plant. So that's a little bit nicer to look at. And now for the room itself, for the whole other room. What I think, yes, we do have an easel, that is good. We have some skill building out here, but we do lack some comfort in this room. So I was thinking about adding out here a rock, and this one in the green is gonna look good, I think. So I'm gonna leave it out here. So I think the office should be done. Now I think let us let us go to the bedroom because main parts of the house are kind of done already. And as for the bedroom, we don't even have a carpet out here, and we do need carpet, desperately do. And I maybe want to use in here something that do not use all that much. And maybe this time it's gonna be this carpet from the Paranormal, but to use that I will need to replace the bed. I think that this bed from the Cottage Living is gonna match if I'm gonna use this kind of like dark metal swatch. But now we do have a little bit too many empty walls around this house. And what I'm thinking about is, as for this bedroom, we might fill them up with the bookshelves. I'm literally just imagining that all of my Sims do like to read because that is how I build my houses. I think I've made something a little bit silly when trying to cover up the fact that this is literally the same painting twice, but if it works, it works. So that's okay. And as for this room, I just think that I'm gonna add out here some sort of like another painting that we used to have in the game, that we do have in the game. Maybe we love cats, maybe we love dogs. So why don't I stick out here something with cats and dogs? And that's gonna be mostly the bedroom done, except for the fact that we do need some clutter on top of these cabinets. I think I'm gonna stick some of the makeup, some of the stuff like that, because I don't think that I use it all the often, and that's like something nice to have around the house because it adds to the realism. Like we do not need much, we just need some, and we might have as well a mirror on top of our. So when you're dressing out, you can check how you look. And yeah, as for me, making the primary bedrooms is the most difficult part of building in The Sims. And now I think let us go on the exterior. So what I wanted to have out here, we might want to have a dining area somewhere out here so that we have some sort of like a picnic table in there. Or I'm imagining that I'm not gonna stick it covered, I might just have it open, but if you want to, you will be able to drag it out to the sun if you want to eat out there. But I like using this table for my exterior dining and sticking some of the chairs that do look visually easily washable. And something like a ceiling fan might look practical for the exterior, I think. And now for the more fun things about our patio. I don't think that I use this hot tub all the often, even though I was one of those who were extremely excited when it was just released for us. I think I might want to use a swatch like that. And as for the dining, I know it's now silly that I do have dining directly where I do have a hot tub. So I think the fact that some rain is gonna go on the ceiling fan is not so bad. I might as well just drag it out a little bit so that it's not clipping out here, but at the same time it's covering the fan completely. Out here, I think I might do it a little bit differently actually, and I might stick our dining room, our dining area, like right to the exits of from our patio. I'm gonna leave my hot tub where it now is, and I might stick an outdoor living room out here. I'm just gonna use some of the furniture that looks like it's gonna be easy for us to remove the pillows from it and stuff, like this one. And I want to use some of the coffee tables that do look like they might not be that easily damaged by water, or if so that they are looking like they're easily removable. And as for the carpet, I believe that cats and dogs one is gonna look kind of fitting for here, just because I'm imagining that that carpet doesn't hold water, this one. And I'm gonna use this like kind of faded out swatch so that it just looks like it did fade out. And I'm not sticking here anything like an umbrella or something like that. I'm just gonna stick in there some sort of light a little bit later. And I'm not gonna stick a grill because I do stick grills in every single one of my buildings and not everybody grills. So these people do not grill. But I want to stick a bicycle because bicycle is fun. Like out here in the bushes, right by the trash can. Like I just came back home from riding a bike and I did not have time to remove it yet. And about some more of the outdoor activities, I was thinking that we might try and get a couple of planters for us. Not everybody grills, but as for my Sims, as far as I'm concerned, everybody gardens. And what I wanted to add is a couple of ropes out here, and I now just remember that I completely forgot to add some decor to the bottom that I got. And out here on the outside, I think we might also get something fun to have out here on the wall, because we have absolutely empty wall, so we can have some bowls and hats, or we can even have a green wall, and I'm imagining that that might be actually fitting too, but not for here. It's not the style of the house that would have a green wall, I imagine. I think these hats are gonna be good. But we do need a tiny little side table for us to have, so I'm gonna add it to something like that because it looks metal for me. It shouldn't be hurt that easily. And now I think I wanna add out here some sort of like a drink tray too. We are already using Perfect Patio, so I think Perfect Patio drink tray is not gonna be a bad idea. And another fruit bowl out here, like, enjoying the outside, eating some fruit. And as for tiny little details on the exterior, I think I might add somewhere here another light so that it's not that dark out there. And I might want to add some sort of like candle, not the sacred ones, or a lamp like that for over here so that it just gives us some light. And as for the plants, I think that in these planters I'm gonna add like something like roses, other plants, gonna look cute. Like I'm doing that so that it just looks good. And if you want to plant in these planters, you will need to remove them, of course. But I'm doing that so that, it doesn't look as sad and empty as it does right away. But this way, at least we have something in there. And now let us go back to the bathroom. As for the bathroom, by the way, I'm not imagining that we are going to have all that much of the decor out here. So I just think that we are going to have a mirror up here. Maybe we are gonna have some towels on the sides. And by the way, I completely forgot that I wanted to stick a towel in the kitchen. So I'm just gonna use the same one like that. So that, we have a towel right next to the sink. You can wash your hands. That's gonna be comfortable. You do not need to use these curtains to wash your hands, so that's okay. And now, as for the bathroom, for some more details, I think I'm gonna add out here a couple of ropes, as if, maybe two people are living out here. Maybe the sim who lives out here has a partner, who knows. And I wanted to add some towels up here, just like that. I just like placing towels on top of each other. And we do not have a curtain out here. I'm gonna fix it now. Literally this one, simple but working. And as for some mod decor for the walls in the bathroom, I think this area by our laundry is gonna be like a utility area for us, I'm imagining. So I was thinking about adding here that broom that we've got, like, simple but effective. And now about the bathroom stuff. What else do we need? Soap and a toothbrush, and I'm using basic ones just for them to be. And I would probably stick a plunger out here where we have a toilet, but it's a little bit too big and it's a kit, and it's one more kit, and I don't want to use one more kit. But I'm gonna stick for us a toilet paper, not from the kit, the basic one. And also I want to stick out here this tiny little box with all of the utilities we might want to have in the bathroom. And now as for the rest of the bathroom, what I'm imagining we might want to need is something like a tiny little rock underneath the tub so that you can dry your feet when exiting, and that's going to be very useful. And another thing I wanted to add is a tiny little rock underneath the sink so that if you have some water splattering around, it's going to be caught into the sink. So that's literally it. And now the only tiny little thing I wanted to add, one more I know, is a couple of more planters in front of the house, because as we are having planters everywhere, why don't we have a little bit more here as well? So I think a couple on this side, and on this side I'm gonna stick something a little bit different. We are gonna have out here some sort of sitting area, like, in case if you're living in a city, you might wait a taxi out here. Of course we don't have taxis in the Sims, but you know just for the imagination, that's what I'm thinking. And I will need to stick out here a couple of more flowers. The only thing that I completely forgot about is the color, the chimney. And yes, we do not have a fireplace in this house, but we do have a chimney. Again, I feel like I do it a little bit too often lately, but that's okay. I'm gonna make the chimney beige. It's just here for us to have a little bit more fun looking roof line. What I'm happy about this house is that I managed to incorporate diagonals out here well. And by the way, terrain paint. I just want us to have some sort of shadow out here, but I don't want it to be too sharp. And this now should literally be the house. So I think I'm gonna give you a quick tour and then I'm gonna post it on the gallery. So it is our tiny little Cape Cod, apparently again, cottage that we do have in Brindle Bay. In here we have our entryway. In here we have a sitting area, a couple of planters. When we go on the inside, we have a tiny little like mud area where we have some tiles on the floor where you can change your shoes, where you can enter the house, when you can leave all of your like exterior clothing, like coats and heavy jackets and stuff. Also in here right away we do have a dining area right from the entryway, but I don't think that that is a bad thing because we have a nice view from here. From the dining area you can access this kitchen and the living room. In the kitchen you can cook your food, of course. In the living room, you can just relax, listen to some music, and maybe watch some TV if you want. You can also read some books. Then, if you go to this side, you enter this tiny little hallway. From this hallway, you can access this tiny or not so tiny nice office. It's actually a nice office. If you want to, you can replace this office for a second bedroom. That's gonna be good. And then if you go to this side, you can access our primary bedroom. It's boring as usual. I cannot make normal primary bedrooms. And if you go directly to the front, you're gonna access the bathroom. In the bathroom we have laundry, we have hamper, we have a sink, we have a tub, also we have a toilet. And now that I think about it, luckily I did not post this house in the gallery yet. It's gonna be maybe nice if we are gonna also have a shower here. It's gonna be like a wet room, I'm imagining. So you can wash yourself completely out there. And I'm gonna stick in here a column. And also from our living room, you can access the backyard. The backyard or back deck is kind of nice because in here we have a hot tub, in here we have a second living room, in here also we have a second dining room. And you can garden in here if you remove all of these plants. And we have a tiny little hidden trash can because I do not like trash cans, so they're always somewhere hidden. And we have this house kind of heavily landscaped, but not so heavily, and we have a chimney, but we do not have a fireplace, so that's a little bit of a bad thing, but it's also a fun thing. So I think that I'm gonna post this house in the gallery. I'm gonna call it the waterfront cottage. I know that it's not waterfront because we do not it's not on a waterfront front lot, but I'm imagining that it is because we have water right behind the house. We have it in there. So we are living right on the beach. That was the default description for the house. And we have one bedroom in here, one bathroom in here. And I'm gonna add a silly description out here because, I can do that sometimes. So yeah, so waterfront, the water is 100 yards away. Yes, it is. I don't care. So this house is 62,500 simoleons. It is on the gallery. My gallery name is gloverunt, just like my YouTube name. It is called Waterfront Cottage. I bet that it uses quite a bit of packs, and I'm sorry for that, but I cannot limit myself unless I try to limit myself right away. And I think that I'm gonna thank you for watching. And if you like videos like that, you might subscribe to my channel. And I think that this should be a goodbye. So, bye guys.